Hello, Lucy. Nice to see you and everybody else for joining us. Right, well, we're going to talk about AI this evening. Will it help us improve the effectiveness of our nurseries and preschools, obviously? And I contacted you because you seem to be a bit of an expert.
Oh my goodness, there we go. Yeah, I think I self-confessed. No credentials other than
except practice, maybe. I think that's all how we're all learning, isn't it? Is by trial and error.
Experience.
So where should we start, Lucy?
Oh, do you know what? I think if we're going to start anywhere, I think let's address the elephant in the room. Okay, the robots are not coming to take over our lives, right? I think.
No, I agree.
I do hear what people are saying, and don't get me wrong, I'm under no illusion though that some jobs that we have today will be non-existent because of things like artificial intelligence. Okay, yeah. But I think rather than panicking about that, let's just accept it. You know, the horses are still very much.
I don't think it'll be our jobs.
No, wow, this is what I was going to say. No, I don't think they will be. We still ride horses, right? But they're not ploughing our fields anymore. So I think it's about putting AI in a place where we see it as a tool. I don't think it's a luxury. I think it's a lifeline. For me, it's automating tasks. So I've got more time to be human. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
You know, so rather than spending so much time sorting out pieces of paper or filing things, it can do a lot of that work for me. And I don't think it will ever replace people. I really want people to see how AI can empower us. I think all great nurseries are human-centered, right? But great leadership means we use tools that buy back time and clarity. And it's that thing, Catherine, if I was to say to you, if I could show you a way that would save you money, give you more time to be a human, yet still get more jobs done than you do today, would you be interested?
Absolutely. Especially if it meant I could spend more time in the nursery doing things with the children.
Absolutely. So here we go. There is a way forward. There is a tool readily available and freely available. I think that's the thing I wonder if maybe makes us concerned is the fact that it's free.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean?
I think the concern is more about not understanding, so it's scary.
Definitely.
It's a bit like when the internet came in and when, we first had our first smartphone, maybe.
Yeah.
I've
what was the first website you went on, Catherine?
Oh, I can't remember.
Mine was the BBC.
No idea.
Only because that's the only email, like www.bbc.com. And I went and looked at the EastEnders page. I don't know why I remember it.
Well, we're missing that tonight, and it's a bit gripping, but we'll have to watch your catch up.
Or you can ask AI. Hey, AI.
Yeah, well, I'd rather watch it, I think, than get a rundown on it. And the other thing I think that concerns people is the safeguarding aspect of it. How safe is it? Yeah. And if it's integrated into nurseries, how safe is it in that context? I think there's two sort of safeguarding issues there, really.
And I hear that. And that is probably the one area where my expertise is not strong in the way I utilize AI is I make sure, because I'm the GDPR data handler for my nursery. So the responsibility of keeping people's data safe sits with me. So the one thing I'm not giving to any of my AI language models is personal details. We use it for planning. So we will put in, Johnny, age 3, and list the characteristics that Johnny likes and all of those things, his interests, even, the makeup in the family. Is he the second child, the third child, or whatever? But what we don't do is actually put in his name, address, or anything that could help anybody anywhere work out who he is. So I think for me, the safeguarding thing is really important, and just ensuring that we're a bit ethical with it as well. You know, all tools can be abused.
Especially if you're using it as a team, you need it's another policy, isn't it? Another policy and a code of practice in how you want team to use it if you're going to allow them access to the internet while they're working, because that's another issue. Definitely. Some nurseries don't do that, do they?
No. And I think,
I mean, I was going
to say, I just think, as with anything new that you'd bring into your nursery, we've got to put the policies and procedures in, haven't we, first? Like, you wouldn't bring in a new toy or a new resource and not risk assess it. I think we need to do exactly the same with AI. What are the potential risks? What's that reward? What do we do in the middle to mitigate the risk versus the reward? How do we square peg? What do we do to make it safe? And I think, like with all risk assessments and policies, it's not a static one and done. You know, we need to be repeating it. We need to be going back to it all the time and just making sure we move with the times, you know.
Well, I was going to say, because it's not going to stand still, is it? And I think the other issue that we need to recognise is actually we don't perhaps know how to, or many people, I certainly wouldn't know how to start risk assessing.
That's a really good point. You know what you could do?
Ask
AI. But you could, couldn't you? You know, pop a prompt. ChatGPT.
I would just say it is incredibly useful like that. I put a prompt in. It was a prompt that somebody had sent me, admittedly, as a freebie. Ooh. And it was, I'm not actually working in nurseries anymore. I help and support nurseries. I don't have I gave my nurseries up. So, but this was about my business, and the prompt was about something along the lines of what's holding me back. And I had to list all the things that I thought was holding me back. And then it told me what I needed to do.
And how was the answer?
I had to, well, the problem I had was I couldn't access early years advisors in local authorities. Okay. We have a new product called On the Button, which is around safeguarding. And I wanted early years providers to know that it existed, because there isn't anything else out there for early years. But I couldn't find them because they're all protected by GDPR.
GDPR,
So it told me what I had to do, which I'd already told it was my problem. So I asked, how was I going to do it then? So it told me to do it through freedom of information. No. So the following day, I literally wrote an email to every single local authority in England for the information. I will say it's really interesting how that information came back to me.
I dread to think.
Some local authorities were much more helpful than others. But the point was that I wouldn't have done that. I would still be wondering how to do it a year after. In fact, 2 years after, probably. I first thought I had that problem.
And I think you've hit the nail right on the head there. That is exactly what I believe AI can do to help you run your nurseries more effectively, right? So let me give you some examples of what I do. We obviously use a software to gather our accident forms, for example. Okay, so a nursery management software that we buy and pay for. So all of the data's on there. But each month this is definitely Stacey, takes the information from there and creates a report just in a spreadsheet. And it's very simple. It's just kind of the name, where the accident happened. We've kind of grouped accidents into type, bite, fall, trip, etc. The member
I used to do this on paper.
Exactly. I used to be fair, so did I. And then the time as well, I think, is on it. But what's been really great for us now, so there's an element of human control over that data, because Stacey herself is putting all of that information into a spreadsheet. So she's auditing it as a human herself. But what's really good now is, so once she's gathered all that data and probably made some recommendations of her own by doing it, she then puts that into her AI, and she will say, acting as an expert in risk management in early years, linking to the EYFS and good practice in England and the health and safety executive, can you summarise this spreadsheet? Give me themes, trends, and 5 action points. Now, in a second, AI comes back with that she then cuts and pastes, reads through. She might need to change it. She might think, oh no, that's not the feel I got. Or, sometimes even goes back to AI and says, oh, hold on, you picked this, but when I did my manual one, I noticed 5 bites consecutive or something like that, because it can make mistakes, right? But what we've found is, in the time that would have taken Stacey to manually think and do, it's there, so that actually, rather than in half an hour taking all that time to do one report, in half an hour, she summarised a wealth of reports ready for our strategy and planning meeting that we hold once a month.
Yeah.
I do the same with the accounts, right? I will put in I code up my spends each month, and I will say things to it like, acting as an accountant, give me some real hard hitting facts about my costs and spends. And I just think I feel like I've got an expert in everything at my disposal. We're not petrified of virtual assistants, are we?
I do think we have to put a health and safety thing on this, though, because sometimes it can get things wrong, can't it?
100%. And I will always say, I would never copy and paste a response and send it. Okay, I copy and paste the response and I read it.
Yeah,
and actually, what I've done is I've trained my AI model. I always feel really weird saying that, but if I don't like what it's writing, or I don't like where it's going with responses, I put that in the next response. So I act as a bit of my AI's mentor. So I'm like, no, I don't like the tone of this, or, please can you link that back to something else, or look through the lens. One I like at the minute, there's been a bit of an issue with AI, all right, where it's become a little bit too agreeable. So I think what people are doing when they're training their AI models, and it's coming back with a response, and we're using phrases like, that's great, thank you, or brilliant, love that, because it's not human, because it's mathematical equations fundamentally, isn't it? The next time it sends you a report and you say, love that, brilliant, perfect, it will keep churning similar things. So every so often.
And so I've noticed, and sometimes you've given it, you'll give it a prompt.
Yeah.
I'd like you to do this, 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 and this.
Yeah.
And do you understand? I always ask it, do you understand what you've got to do? And it comes back and tells me. And then I say, that's right. And here's what you need to do, the bit you need to do it to. And it'll do that for 10 things or more. And you think you're on a jolly,
And then it goes rogue.
And then it suddenly does something completely different. So I have to tell it off. And I tell it it's got it wrong. And of course, I haven't noticed. It's not the 10th thing that's gone wrong. It's probably the 8th thing that went wrong. So it then goes back and gives me all the information to put it right, which is incredibly confusing in some ways. But I think we just have to be aware of that.
I've also found as well sometimes, again, when I've been asking it to help me research things, it's come back with maybe a reference, and I've kind of gone, is that real? And it's come back with like, you're absolutely right, no, that was just an example reference. So a 100% think about the clarity of the question. I'll always believe AI is like anything else. The better quality the question, the better quality the answer. And I always think, specifically if you're trying to get it to do something for you, ask it to ask you questions, like we would with a child. If you were trying to know if a child or even an adult learner understood what you were asking, exactly like you just said, Catherine, you would say to it, you'd ask some validating questions, wouldn't you? So whenever I'm doing a prompt of something that maybe is out of my own area of expertise, so I'm not going to pick it up, I will say things like, can you ask me 5 questions so that you can best understand what I am asking of you? And then I will, you know, I love the play devil's advocate response. One I've been using lately since I found out AI got a little bit too agreeable and then really noticed that. I started to think either I'm really on fire this month, like I'm either coming out with like the best ideas ever, or something's gone a little bit wry, and it had gone wry. I will use prompts like through the eyes of the haters, or critique this, or acting as a mentor, a guide, and being brutally honest. Or I'll say things like, now, don't be kind. Sorry, don't be kind and nice, just be honest and truthful.
I ask the question, does this make sense? I'll write something, and I will just say, because of my educational background, I could hardly read and write at 11.
Oh, really?
And I've had a hang up about this all my life. And when I was an Ofsted inspector, the reports used to come back with red writing all over them. It was like being back at school. But anyway, but so I have this thing, and I will write stuff that means something to me, and afterwards I think I've just written a whole lot of rubbish here, so I'll put it in, and they'll perhaps tidy it up for me. And then what I do, because I don't want my blogs, for example,
red penning,
to be recognized as AI.
Okay.
So what I do then is I put it into Grammarly.
I love Grammarly.
So I put the thing into Grammarly.
Yeah.
And you can, on Grammarly, it will tell you if it's AI. The only thing is sometimes Grammarly tells me that something is AI'd when in fact I've written it from scratch. So that's a bit confusing.
Well, also remember, because you are very prominent on the internet as a voice.
Yeah.
It might be something you've said, but if you've cited it on the big World Wide Web,
maybe sometimes though, Grammarly will actually give you the link of what you're actually doing. I mean, one of them was something that a garage had written.
I got a really low plagiarism score in a thing I put through Grammarly, and it was all stuff that I'd written. I'm like, oh, darling, I can't plagiarise myself. I
haven't had any plagiarism, admittedly, but that time will come, I'm sure.
But you know, like you say about Grammarly is an AI tool.
Yes, of course it is.
You know, and I think when we say easy for you to say, when we say AI now, we naturally go, don't we, to ChatGPT or Gemini on Google or whatever the Chrome one is. And I think we've forgotten that before, like, these language models were really frontline and center in the world, we were using lower level versions. Because I know I've been using Grammarly for a long time, thinking it was just another tool. You know, I never questioned how or what it was doing. And then, and a little bit, you know, artificial intelligence in the form of language models, Google is up there too, isn't it? You know, we stopped Google searching a word and we started to ask Google questions, didn't we? And then Google started to guess what the questions we were going to ask were. And
that's right.
I think I do understand the fear. I had some really great and genuinely great debates with people on LinkedIn, creative writers, for example, or people whose craft is writing. And I can see why, if that's what you do and that is your passion and that's what you're devoted to, it is scary. But I think there are so many ways that we can bring human into AI. And, you know, if we bring it back to like the nursery point, we need help as leaders and managers. We need help as educators. We do all need a personal assistant, right? Just to hold some of the cognitive load that we're asked to hold as educators, right? So that's what these tools can be. They can be just that. You know, I actually created my own GPT within ChatGPT. Sorry, I don't want to get too technical, but basically,
that's why I said I'm not being very creative with mine at the moment. I need to do that.
And the reason I did that, to give to my team, was so that ChatGPT doesn't go, all around the whole World Wide Web, when formulating responses, I've got a little bit of, I think it's censorship, I think that's the right word, over where it's formulating its response from. So within my
safe, it makes it safer.
So for example, I uploaded my operations manual to it. If you don't have an operations manual, guess what you can get AI to do for you this afternoon or this evening? Write you an operations manual. It's also linked to my website. So it's pulling, and the reason for that is it's pulling my feel, my voice, my presence from my website. It's got the EYFS. Controversially, it has both birth to 5 and development matters. And then I did a list of best practice. So education endowment foundation, best start in life, all of those kind of pieces of research or evidence, curiosity approach features in there, some Montessori features, things that are important to me are in there. And I think what that helps the team do when they're doing their planning and we're using AI for it, rather than it just going everywhere, there is that element of, as a leader, I've got a bit of control over where it's going, what sort of answers are coming back. And I also think the team themselves talk about how what's lovely actually is the time they've got now. They're not spending the hour planning meeting, 5 minutes discussing and 55 minutes writing the same thing 10 times for all of their key children. They're putting it in, and it's okay. It's pick that apart.
I mean, for me, because I do Spark.
Yeah.
Spark doesn't work like that at all. No. So everything's in the moment with Spark. So I mean, I'm struggling over how AI. I mean, we continually look at it from the admin side. I don't have a problem with it at all. But from the planning and recording and scaffolding children's learning sort of side of life, I can't see how it can enhance what we currently provide.
Yeah,
okay? Unless we completely change our whole thing. That makes sense.
And I get that, and I think what we did was we did it slowly. So basically, for us, these are the things that when the team are having their planning meeting, we actually use Zoom. Now, they're in person, but they open up a Zoom meeting because we found it to be the most accurate. And they just talk and Zoom captures the conversation.
Yeah.
Okay. Room lead then gets the summary. Now, don't get me wrong, because we are like one group of people that are all probably have a female tone. What ChatGPT is not very good, what Zoom's not very good at is picking out who's talking. We have mitigated that a little bit. We will try and say it's Lucy or it's Catherine before we speak. But you know what it's like when you get busy talking about the child and what's gone on.
Passionate.
Yeah, all of that loses its sight. But what's really useful is that in itself, look, there's AI working. All of the meetings now that I hold that are online, I don't now as a coach have to have my pen in my hand. I can be totally present with my coachee or even a member of the team who's rang me for some support, because I know that AI is capturing it. And actually it tends to capture, even if I kind of say, oh yeah, I've got one of those, which I probably wouldn't have written down because it was a bit of an off the cuff thing I've said. AI's got that, the list of the things that Lucy's promised.
I could see how it could be really useful for supervision meetings.
Yeah.
Rather than filling in forms.
Yeah.
As long as there's a list of questions or the list of things you're going to, ensure you cover during that meeting.
And I also think just a little bit of, explaining that to the person as well. Look, I'm going to use AI to capture the notes. This is not the same as a recording. I'm not recording us. It's just capturing the essence of our conversation. And again, please do read it back and make sure it does make mistakes. But yeah, for us, it's those little minutes. All right, we've nobody's lost their job, right? We're not at the point where we're going, oh, we've got too many staff now because AI's, you know, feeding the children and changing their nappy.
That'll never happen in
No,
nursery. There's always something to do, even if it's
things.
clearing out that cupboard that's been neglected for the last 5 years.
Now, if you can get AI to do that, that'd be great. Thank you very much. No, but what I think, you know, if everybody can save an hour a day, that's an hour's more time with the children. And I just think what that hour means is that you can actually be genuinely and honestly present with the children because you're not rushing anymore. No. You're not thinking, oh my goodness, I've got to get that done. I will say though, I don't know how I feel about body cams on educators. You know, there's been a bit of talk about that, hasn't there? And I don't know whether this is a bit of a, I don't know.
I wasn't aware of that. I wasn't aware of that. Do you have cameras in your nursery?
No.
No, I didn't either. I have, and I still don't feel comfortable with cameras in the nurseries either. Personally, that's my personal view.
Yeah, and I think I echo your personal view. I have been a part of a situation where having CCTV was a blessing. I've also been part of a situation where CCTV caused something that looked to be one thing from here. Do you know, actually, not even CCTV. We had a situation once where we, many years ago, a few, pre-COVID, posted a photograph on social media, right? With consent, everybody in the photo had consented. But the photo at the front of it, you know, what you were supposed to be looking at was lovely. But in the background, there was a bit of what looked like an altercation. Right. Thankfully, because it was taken on the iPad, we had the live photo because the parent obviously saw their child, zoomed in and was a bit like, oh my goodness, like what's actually, is my child being pushed? Yeah, we were able, thankfully, to hold our finger on the live photo and see that little mini motion video that showed actually, no, it was quite the opposite. You know, it was nothing. But yeah, I do wonder, technology has a place, but as you even said right from the beginning, it's about those ethical considerations. How do we use these things responsibly? How do we use them ethically? There is the environmental thing. If you've paid any attention to the media recently, you know, when we're training AI language models at kind of core stage, the energy that's involved is burning a lot of, I think they said water to cool it, isn't it?
No, that's that's right.
There's an impact, but my brain naturally went to that. There's an environmental sustainability question around books, is there not? 300 pages in the average book, that's a tree. Well, I know just personally, I must have 500 books in my house. Anyway,
it's not going to stop it, is it?
No.
So, I mean, I think exactly, and we need to embrace it. I mean, I was going to ask you what you think it's going to be like in 5 years' time. I think we won't do anything without it.
No.
In 5 years' time.
No, I don't.
Or even sooner than that, probably.
And do you know what I see? I see a bit kind of full circle. I genuinely believe for every job that maybe is lost or definitely reduced by AI, a new one will be created. Yeah, I genuinely think prompt engineering will become the search engine optimization role of the 5 years in the future. Yeah, people will, you know, like you said, you got given a prompt for free. That's going to become somebody's full-time job. Somebody's full-time job is going to be designing and crafting like art the sort of prompts that you need to be putting into. Well, there's already books.
You don't think we'll all just get better at it? I think we'll all just get better at it, Lucy.
I think we will, but I think there's going to be, you know, at the minute how we have like kind of people that are responsible for climate change. Well, you know, the new DFE, well, not new, there's this climate change. I think within organizations, you're going to have somebody that is responsible for your artificial intelligence. You know, like we've got like a climate lead and we've got a health and safety executive and we have our risk person. I can see a role within everything being, you know, AI ethic coordinator or something like that. And I think Is it a bad thing? No.
Or will it be the GDPR person that ends up with a
Oh, let's
job?
hope not.
I wrote some things down this afternoon that perhaps nurseries could do with AI. One is to plan for continuous professional development.
Nice.
Another one was continuous development plans for the setting.
Nice.
You know, write in what you're good at, do a SWOT analysis maybe, and write in what
upload your Ofsteds.
Yeah, and your Ofsteds, etc.
Yeah.
Operation procedures. You know, the systems that we put in place. And we're very good at putting systems in place. Oh, well, some nurseries are very good at putting systems in place. But what often lacks is, yes, you do need a tablecloth on the breakfast table, but it needs to be one that hasn't got loads of
paint on it.
Tell I'm talking from experience.
Yeah.
But there's an opportunity there to make it really clear, rather than just we used to take photographs, but you don't need to do that now. You can actually say that, have a tick list by it, tablecloth, you know, non-creased or whatever. And I think the human touch in everything that we produce still needs to be there, because it's going to reflect our professional integrity. You know, it's fine, right? I need a policy around whatever, mobile phones or whatever the policy is that you want to upgrade or you want to introduce into your setting. Personally, I think everybody in the setting should be writing that policy, and then they have ownership of it. Well, that's not going to happen now at all. It will be the AI will write it, and then maybe
the humans can discuss it though. That's how we do it in our setting.
And change it.
Yeah, AI writes it, right, in a second, which would have taken poor Stacey. You know, she's the greatest touch typer I know. Still would have taken her minutes, wouldn't it? Even if she's touch typing as we're talking, AI does it like that. Yeah. But then, so in that 15 minutes, it would have taken Stacey to write it up. We've spent 15 minutes discussing its suitability, viability, and changing it and updating it. And
I just wouldn't want people to say, right, I'm going to make a policy about this, ask AI, and then read it and think, yeah, no, that's fine. And then, you know, we need to keep that human element and make it our own. You know, we can buy a policy from a national organisation now, but it doesn't mean to say it fits our setting, and it doesn't mean to say that it sits with our ethos or our environment, even with some policies, because everybody will have a different sort of building that they are operating from.
And
so
different cohorts of children require different emphasis on different policies and procedures, even within the same ethos, don't they? So I think like I said, AI is a tool. It is not a replacement. And I think we need to give it a place, but keep it in its place. Does that make sense? I think
take charge of it.
Yeah. It's there to support us. It's not there to become us. And for me, that's what's really important. And I think I will always encourage people, have a go with it. Don't be frightened of it. You know, don't not use it or think you're being morally superior because you're choosing not to use it. It's daft. We've got a tool that can save us time. Let's do it. Let's use it. Let's make the most of it.
And it's not about time, just time, actually. It's also about making us stronger, because none of us know it all.
No.
And, you know, writing a policy, we might write, and that goes back to safeguarding as well. You know, we can write something and be biased and not actually realise we are being biased towards a certain sector of children or what have you. Yeah. So
or exclusive when we thought we were really inclusive.
Yeah, that's right.
And I think for me, like, and especially the way my brain works, so I can have 100 different things going on in my head at any one time. I used to journal a lot, right? But
yes,
yeah, And also the challenge with journaling is it's wonderful. It's out my head, but
Right.
then it's full stop, right? It's nowhere else. It's in a book now.
I write lists.
Yeah, well, what I found with AI, and we were having a conversation earlier, weren't we, about you probably underused it and I definitely overused it, taking photographs of sticks. But I now, all of those ideas, I actually have in my ChatGPT history, I have literally my brain dump one or my mind map one, right, where we have the most random of conversations in there, and every so often I will put a post in and I will say, can you summarize the thoughts, ideas, and crazy conversations we've had over the last 2 weeks, and pull out all of those things that you think are going to move me towards my goal. Now, it knows my goal because there's another chat where I've put all of my short and long-term goals in. That has been worth its weight in gold because it keeps me on track. It gives me, I feel like I still have my business coach, but I also feel like I've got a coach in my pocket. I've got somebody keeping me on track. I've got someone sense checking. I've got someone making sure that, I've had to learn that.
Are you a doer? Or are you a...
I mean, I'm a doer.
See, so am I, but I haven't used ChatGPT like that at all. I've used it.
My brain's used.
I write lists, basically. I write one list in a book.
Yep.
And I wish I've had it here. Yes, I've got, hold on. It is. It's very old. It's 2 years old now, and it's one list. And it has everything written down. I don't know if you can see.
Oh, yeah. And then you cross out when you've done it.
It goes on to, oh, it's getting dark. I thought we'd still be in the light. And then I have a grid where the numbers.
Like urgent and important kind of grid?
That's it. That's it. And that's what I use. So I put my ideas down in there, but maybe I should use ChatGPT instead.
Well, I like to write. Okay. When I'm at events or I'm in meetings, writing down what's being said really helps me stay in the room and on the task, right? So I am still a writer, as much as I said I use AI. Guess then what I do with this?
You put it
photograph it. Literally get my phone, photograph the words, upload the photos to ChatGPT and say, put this in a document, summarize the event, pull out all the things I'm going to do, put it in a table. I copy and paste that, put it into a document.
I didn't know you could do that.
See what I mean? Catherine, you can take photographs of sticks and say, what is going on this stick?
No, you do things like that. I don't think I'll be doing that.
For me, these are all my workarounds, right? And actually without them, I've got a place where I can park my thoughts. I've got a place where I can, I've learned the writing thing, but also now I've learned an effective way. That would have taken me hours to go back through.
Well, it wouldn't. You probably wouldn't have done it, would you? You would have gone on to the next thing, and it would have got neglected.
Yeah. Don't get me wrong. It does mean we have to have a file audit. So I've now got a spreadsheet with a list of all the files that are on, so I know what to find.
So you can find them again.
Yeah. But even on Google now, if you use Google Drive, so like Google Workplace or just even the Google Drive, and you put a folder on there, on the right-hand side, it will now summarize the contents of that folder. So that's how I was able to upload all of my files, years and years and years and years and years of folders and files and writings, and it summarized it all. It took us half a day. That would have been amazing. Well, that would have been months worth of work that would have just never have got done. And I just think it's understandably scary, but equally so exciting. But I am an early adopter. I am the person. You want anything new looking at, I'll look at it.
Yeah. Okay. I believe you. It's all right. I sent you something to look at, didn't I?
I
was going to say something else then.
I'm not very good at finishing things.
Well, I was going to say, I was going to say something. It's gone.
Oh.
It's gone. Oh, what about people that are listening to us? Come on. Have you started using AI in your settings? We've only got one person that's actually said anything. Hi, I'm in sunny Essex. Sometimes, that's what I was going to say. What is lacking, although there seems to be some that are coming on, I've got a bit fixated with TikTok recently for my sins.
Okay.
And I've actually put it on LinkedIn this week. Had one thing that I posted that's had 65,000 views. But that's not why. I just think that's fascinating, and it hasn't brought, to my knowledge, it hasn't brought me anything at all, apart from the fact that I can boast that I had 65,000 views. But
feels good.
Yeah, but often on TikTok and on Facebook now, there are people who are advertising that they're doing things for over 55s or over 70s around AI.
Right.
We lack, there's a lack out there of people that can actually help and support. Although I appreciate that ChatGPT can tell you what to do, but you've got to know what to ask it. You've got to know what the platforms can do for you before you can ask them how do you do that.
And I think that is the absolute crux to all of this, isn't it? Right? At the end of the day, the tool is only as good as the information you put in it. A bit like we are as humans, right? If I want to know about you, I've got to think about the types of questions that I'm going to ask you. I've got to build a rapport
it's really
with
interesting
you.
when you look me up.
Yeah, but you know what I mean? I think
I haven't looked you up. I'm going to do that straight afterwards.
No, you need to ask ChatGPT to, if I was
That's what I'm going to do.
At me. What was really interesting, actually, I was at an event recently, and this amazing.
All you have to do, folks, is just say, tell me what you know about your name in early years. That's all you have to do, and it'll come up with what it knows about you.
Don't ask it what it knows about me. It's not true. Remember, I've just said I had those deep, dark conversations with it. Lucy is curious about what is belly button fluff. That is an actual real life question. I did ask it.
But we do. I think there's a need for somebody sensible to devise some simple training to get people going and started on it. I think that would help people a lot. That's what I'm sort of
absolutely
saying.
And I've said this, I've shared my AI, the original, the 2023 version of my AI policy and prompt document that I created for my nursery. I did pop that on my Instagram because I just thought it's slightly different what we use now because we've evolved. But there's no point in me giving you the evolved version if you're new to it. So the original version, the prompts and everything that's in there is useful. I also think it's about finding a place in a space where you can be open and vulnerable with the questions without being shut down. Because again,
nobody else will know what you've asked.
Yeah, well, like you were saying about LinkedIn and things like TikTok, sometimes I feel really sorry for some people who ask some really genuine can you help me questions and get trolled, don't they, with I can't believe you don't know that and things. So
people that go on a tangent and somebody's actually asked a question and they've gone off on a tangent how awful it is that such and such and such and such is happening.
Exactly. So I do think you're absolutely right.
When we've made this film, well, we're recording now, I've got a new AI tool. I can't tell you what it's called. Well, not off the top of my head, but I found it 2 days ago.
Oh, it's not that you won't tell us, you don't know.
I can't remember.
I thought you were being all secretive.
Noun something as I'm getting older, I'm finding difficult to remember anyway, but I don't need to know what it's called. I just need to know how it works and if it works for me. Anyway, I found it 2 days ago. And And what I can do is I can put this whole video into this tool, and it will break it down into shorts for YouTube, which I can use on
maybe not this
YouTube.
one. It might say, sorry, content not suitable. Delete. Archive.
I don't think so. You can choose. I mean, you choose. There's still the human element. You choose which ones you want to use. You shorten them if you want to. You know, the human element has gone, but the time it will save me. I mean, I put in an hour video of a Spark debate, and I got 9 or 10.
Wow.
It was loads of little tiny clips.
Yeah.
And the hours it takes me just to find 2 decent things.
And again,
out of each Spark debate, which is what I try to do.
And then tie that with ChatGPT. Go to ChatGPT, tell it to act as an expert in brand development, and, you know, tell it what you want to do. Do you want to increase your reach? Do you want to increase engagement? Do you just want to raise awareness? Put all of those things in it. Ask it, you know, to come up with the content.
Actually, Lucy, it actually tells you. Yeah. It tells you how it puts them in a sort of scale. So the ones that are more likely to go viral have a higher score, and it also tells you the transcript, and it tells you it breaks things down. I mean, it's absolutely amazing, absolutely amazing. Because I've been working on something else this week, I haven't really had a chance to really explore it, but I bought it. Bought it straight away. But
you know, you say
and it's actually not. It's about £140 for a whole year. I mean, that
you've already probably got that back already.
The time that I would spend.
You say about
absolutely nothing. If anybody wants it, just email me and I'll let you know what it's called.
But... I was just thinking as you were saying that, I created some spreadsheets ages ago, and I wanted to snazz them up a bit. My trouble with some things like Excel is I know it can do wonderful things very quickly, but I don't know how to do the wonderful things.
I love Excel.
I found that I now have got in ChatGPT an Excel teacher. So I will say to it, right, I've got this spreadsheet. I can even upload the spreadsheet if I want, and say to it, right, actually, what I'm trying to do here, it was one basically where I'd got the year selector. So I'd managed to put in a formula that said, can you select the year and then do the days? But actually, I wanted it to automatically know that if I selected February, it was 28 days, but also if it was February 2025, it'd do Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday as per. It did it. And I know I could have gone into Excel help, but I wasn't. Sometimes with things like the help online, I don't know enough explicitly about what it is I'm asking to get the help.
You can ask Google that. You can actually ask Google. It'll come up. The AI section at the top of Google will tell you immediately.
Exactly. But then it's AI again, isn't it? But do you see what I mean? I'm able to.
Yeah, that's right.
Like talk. Sometimes as well, I don't even type. Sometimes I do the little microphone in ChatGPT, and I'm like, right, in my head, I've got this spreadsheet. I've got this column. You know, this is the raw data that's in it, but I'd really like this to talk to that, and then talk to that, and work this out, and put it in a pie chart, and send it, you know, blah, 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 blah. And it'll be like, right, that's possible, that's not. That would need this. And I'm like, brilliant. And then you learn it. I think the point I was making is, rather than AI taking away the human learning element, I'm learning things from AI. So, you know, it's not making me a robot. Like, I'm not just like, can you think about...
Do you have the paid version of ChatGPT?
Yeah.
Do you have the paid version?
Yeah. And I feel a bit like dirty saying that. I'm all in. I've been all in for years.
I don't, but I need to, really. I need to. I haven't tried anything with numbers at all. Brilliant. Yet, but the time will come.
Yeah.
And certainly from a nursery's perspective, having something that you can ensure that you are running profitably, like your company.
Now more than ever, that's really key, isn't it? With the funding rate, with 80% from September of revenue coming from local authorities, now more than ever we need to know our numbers, and now more than ever we have the tools. We don't need to be accountants. We can ask things like AI.
Well,
Oh, right, it can make
accountants are
mistakes.
actually very accountants are actually very expensive.
Yeah.
So it's, you know, if we can use ChatGPT to get things straight in our minds, then obviously that's going to save a lot of money.
A great prompt.
Well,
I'm going to get £5.60 from the local authority per hour. How can I make that profitable, or how can I make that usable, or
work?
Give me some advice of what I need to be spending, or how to split it, or how many children, that magic number, how many hours do I need to sell? These are my outgoings, you know, my rent, my staff, my this, put the numbers in. How many hours do I need to sell each day to make this make money? It will tell you the answer.
Yeah.
Literally just done myself out of a job, because that's what I spend my life doing, telling nurseries, but hey.
that personal touch will never go. I don't think consultants are still going to be needed. People will still need to have that human touch, that experience that they don't have yet.
And
that view on something from a different angle.
Stories, and just I love AI because it's given me time to be a human. And I think I said that right at the beginning. The gift it's given me is time and attention. I can be present with my own children, my nursery children, my nursery team, my clients, the wider people. I've got more time for advocacy in the sector because AI is doing some of the heavy lifting for me. So actually, I've got more time to be human. I've got more time to walk my dogs. Poor little things are exhausted. Like, mummy, go back to doing all that filing you used to do. We don't want to walk again. But it's a blend, isn't it? It's finding the tools that work for you. If you can't make them work, find somebody that can. I'm always open. You know, you can find me on LinkedIn. Ask me a question and I'll give you a prompt. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm always available.
Well, we're going to leave our details for everybody. I'm going to play.
Nice. But yeah,
unless there's anything else you particularly want to say. I'm conscious I'm getting in the dark here.
What I want to say to people is it's staying, right? So we either get on the bus and go with it, or we let that bus pass and we'll get the next one that comes along, because it's not going anywhere. It can
but that might be too late. Might be too late.
Yeah, you'll be burnt. You'll be broken and burnt out by then. So get on the bus, have some fun with it, play around with it, play safe to start with, then start to pick up some of the more serious things. Ask for help. Ask it to help you. You know, that was one of the first early things I did. I used to say to it, you know, I really want to master the art of utilizing AI. Can you tell me what I need to know and can do? Tell me how to become an expert at utilizing you as a tool.
Excellent.
It does say good night to me now, which sometimes gets a little bit weird.
Oh my goodness.
I'm like, good night, all of the children. Good night, the dogs and the cats. Good night, ChatGPT, sweet dreams.
Lovely.
But I don't know.
Well, if nobody's got anything else to say on the chat, just check. Nobody wants to say anything. It's down on the right-hand corner of your screen if you want to write anything. Thank you very much, Lucy. I've really enjoyed this.
Oh, it's my pleasure, my love. And I'm so glad that we finally got to get together on this lovely sunny evening.
Yeah, it's getting dark now, as you can see. It's obviously darker with me than you. Have you got a light on?
Slipping into the darkness.
Have you got the light on?
No, I haven't actually.
I'm going to